Imagine waking up every morning wondering if today will be the day your life changes forever. The streets you once walked freely now feel like a trap. Across America, undocumented immigrants face a harsh reality, but in some states, life is even more dangerous. As Trump ramps up mass deportations, which states have become the worst places for illegal immigrants? Stick around, because some of these may surprise you. As the Trump administration intensifies its crackdown on undocumented immigrants, certain U.S. states have become hotbeds for immigration enforcement. While some places offer sanctuary, others are doubling down on strict laws, ICE cooperation, and aggressive policies that put undocumented communities at risk. Today, we're breaking down the 10 worst states for illegal immigrants and revealing exactly what makes these places so dangerous. Before we dive in, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more in-depth coverage of immigration trends, policies, and updates. Let's get started. 10. Virginia. Virginia may be for lovers, but if you're undocumented, that love comes with conditions. The state is a mixed bag when it comes to immigration policies. Some cities, like Richmond and Alexandria, have passed sanctuary-style protections, but move just a few miles, and you'll find counties like Prince William actively working with ICE. ICE raids in Northern Virginia have increased significantly, especially in the D.C. metro area, where federal agents are stationed nearby. In some regions, even minor infractions, like a routine traffic stop, can trigger deportation proceedings. And with tightening employment laws, undocumented workers are struggling to find jobs without being flagged. The Virginia General Assembly has also faced ongoing battles over driver's licenses for undocumented immigrants, with policies shifting depending on the political climate. Additionally, Virginia's stance on immigration is heavily influenced by its proximity to Washington, D.C., meaning federal policies and crackdowns are often felt first here. State-level immigration laws are inconsistent, making it difficult for undocumented individuals to predict where they will be safe. If you're undocumented and living in Virginia, keeping a low profile might not be enough. Whether it's law enforcement cooperation with ICE, increasing deportation raids, or employment verification tightening, undocumented immigrants in Virginia face constant uncertainty and risk. (9) North Carolina. North Carolina isn't just enforcing immigration laws, it's doubling down. The state has revived its controversial 287G program, allowing local police officers to act as ICE agents. That means something as minor as a broken tail light could land you in ICE custody. In rural areas, law enforcement is even more aggressive, with some counties competing to see who can deport the most people. The state legislature is also pushing stricter laws aimed at limiting access to work, housing, and even public services for undocumented immigrants. Furthermore, North Carolina has seen a significant rise in anti-immigrant sentiment, leading to more restrictive state policies that make it harder for undocumented residents to live and work without fear. Some counties have reintroduced or strengthened local cooperation with ICE, making everyday activities, like going to work or taking kids to school, much riskier. There is also an ongoing debate in North Carolina about the rights of undocumented students in higher education. Some lawmakers are pushing to revoke access to in-state tuition for undocumented students, making it harder for immigrant families to pursue higher education opportunities. If you're undocumented in North Carolina, even daily activities carry significant risks. The combination of law enforcement cooperation, restrictive state policies, and increasing anti-immigrant sentiment make this state a particularly difficult place for undocumented residents. Georgia. Georgia is one of the most unforgiving states for undocumented immigrants. It has some of the strictest employment verification laws, making it nearly impossible for undocumented workers to find jobs legally. The state enforces E-Verify, which means even under-the-table jobs are risky. Unlike some states, Georgia offers zero sanctuary protections. Cities and counties are actively encouraged to collaborate with ICE, leading to frequent immigration raids. Even major cities like Atlanta, which have historically been more lenient, have seen increased enforcement. Georgia lawmakers have introduced several bills aimed at limiting the rights of undocumented residents, including denying access to public benefits and even imposing penalties on businesses that employ undocumented workers. These measures create an atmosphere of fear and instability for immigrant communities. Another significant issue in Georgia is the high rate of workplace raids. ICE frequently targets businesses suspected of employing undocumented workers, resulting in mass detentions and deportations. This not only affects the undocumented individuals caught in the raids but also disrupts entire communities. The bottom line? If you're undocumented in Georgia, you're living on borrowed time. With a combination of aggressive employment laws, lack of sanctuary protections, and frequent ICE raids, Georgia is one of the toughest states for undocumented immigrants to navigate safely. Arizona. Arizona has long been known for its aggressive immigration policies. The infamous SB 1070, or Show Me Your Papers law, may have been partially struck down, but the enforcement mindset never left. Police officers still work closely with ICE, and deportations happen at lightning speed. With its vast desert borders, Arizona is a border patrol stronghold. Drones, surveillance towers, and checkpoints make crossing and staying in the state incredibly difficult. Even Phoenix and Tucson, which once offered some relief, are frequent targets of ICE raids. Arizona's state legislature continues to pass laws that limit access to essential services for undocumented immigrants, including restrictions on obtaining state IDs or driver's licenses. These measures make it even harder for undocumented individuals to integrate into society and access basic necessities. Additionally, Arizona has a high rate of deportations due to its location near the southern border. Many undocumented immigrants detained in Arizona are quickly placed in ICE custody and processed for deportation. This creates a sense of constant danger for anyone living in the state without legal status. If you're undocumented in Arizona, every day is a gamble. Between law enforcement's cooperation with ICE, strict state policies, and proximity to federal immigration enforcement agencies, Arizona remains one of the most dangerous states for undocumented residents. Illinois. Illinois presents a unique challenge for undocumented immigrants. While Chicago is a sanctuary city, offering some protections, the rest of the state is far less welcoming. Many suburban and rural counties actively cooperate with ICE, making undocumented individuals vulnerable outside the city's limits. ICE raids have increased in Illinois, especially in areas with large immigrant populations. Suburban counties have been at the center of major immigration sweeps, resulting in a rise in detentions and deportations. The state's financial crisis has also led to significant budget cuts, reducing resources available for immigrant support programs such as legal aid and social services. Even within Chicago, policies are shifting due to political pressure. While city officials have pledged to remain immigrant-friendly, the reality on the ground suggests that federal enforcement agencies continue to operate within the region. Illinois is an unpredictable place for undocumented immigrants, where political shifts can rapidly change the safety landscape. 5. New Jersey. New Jersey is home to a significant undocumented population, many of whom contribute to the state's workforce. However, the state's immigration policies vary widely by region. Cities like Newark and Jersey City have strong sanctuary protections, but counties like Ocean and Monmouth are known for their ICE cooperation. One of the biggest risks in New Jersey is the 287G program, which allows local police departments to act as ICE agents. Several counties have embraced these agreements, turning routine traffic stops into potential deportation cases. ICE raids are frequent, and the federal government has targeted the state due to its high number of undocumented residents. While some local governments fight back against federal policies, the constant push and pull between state and federal authorities makes New Jersey a volatile place for immigrants. Simply moving from one county to another can mean the difference between protection and deportation. 4. New York. New York City is one of the most well-known sanctuary cities, but the broader state presents a different picture. Federal immigration enforcement remains aggressive, with frequent ICE raids targeting undocumented communities. The biggest issue in New York is the growing housing crisis, which disproportionately affects undocumented immigrants. Skyrocketing rents and a lack of affordable housing have forced many undocumented families into overcrowded conditions, making them more vulnerable to legal scrutiny. Upstate New York and Long Island are especially dangerous for undocumented immigrants. Local law enforcement agencies in certain counties work closely with ICE, leading to targeted arrests and deportations. The state may claim to be immigrant-friendly, but in practice, federal enforcement makes life increasingly difficult for undocumented residents. Three. Florida. Florida is one of the most hostile states for undocumented immigrants. Governor Ron DeSantis' administration has prioritized deportations, signing laws that make it more difficult for undocumented workers to find jobs and access public services. One of Florida's biggest risks is mandatory E-Verify, which forces businesses to verify employment eligibility. This makes it extremely difficult for undocumented immigrants to find work, even in industries that have historically hired them under the table. In addition, Florida has increased state-led immigration enforcement, with local police cooperating closely with ICE. Even long-term undocumented residents are not safe, as authorities frequently conduct raids in immigrant-heavy communities. Florida has become an especially dangerous place for undocumented immigrants, with strict laws and an anti-immigrant political climate making everyday life incredibly risky. Two. Texas. Texas is one of the most dangerous places for undocumented immigrants due to its proximity to the border and strict anti-immigration laws. The state has banned sanctuary cities, meaning local law enforcement is required to cooperate with ICE. Border Patrol and ICE are deeply embedded in Texas law enforcement, leading to frequent deportations. Even longtime residents who have built families and businesses are not safe. Immigration raids occur regularly in major cities like Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, and border surveillance is among the most intense in the country. Texas also enforces Senate Bill 4, which allows police officers to question individuals about their immigration status during routine encounters. This law has created widespread fear among immigrant communities, making it one of the most dangerous states for undocumented individuals. 1. California. Despite its reputation as an immigrant-friendly state, California is actually one of the most dangerous places for undocumented immigrants. It has the largest undocumented population in the U.S., which makes it a prime target for federal immigration enforcement. While California has passed sanctuary laws, ICE has ramped up operations, particularly in cities like Los Angeles and San Diego. Immigration raids are frequent, and individuals with even minor infractions can end up in deportation proceedings. Another major issue is the cost of living. California's housing crisis has hit immigrant communities the hardest, with many undocumented families struggling to afford rent. Combined with an uncertain political landscape, the risk of deportation is always looming. For all its talk of protecting immigrants, California remains one of the top states for ICE activity, making it one of the most challenging places for undocumented individuals to live safely. These 10 states have become the most dangerous places for undocumented immigrants as deportations rise. If you found this video informative, hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you experienced immigration crackdowns in your state? Let us know.